Sounds like a podcast.
Yeah.
I just,
I mean, without all the fancy equipment, we're gonna get there.
no, I mean you start where you can. Like for me, when I started doing this thing, we started out. We had it. I had one Yeti mic, and we
Mm.
put the Yeti mic in the table, and me and my cousin sat on opposite sides of it, and we talked. And after we did like some test episodes, and we did like the real pilot, he was like, "Yo, if we gonna do this, we need to step our equipment game up."
Mm.
And I was like, if I start investing, we at least got to do 52 episodes because I don't want to spend this money and us start to like not use it after like a week.
Right.
So that's when we got the condenser mic. And once we got the condenser mic, we had two condenser mics hooked up to an interface going through a computer. And that's when I started to really, really research podcasting. Then I learned about dynamic mics. And then I learned the difference between a dynamic and a condenser. Just the long story short is that the condensers are like the ones that they use for singing. Picks up everything. So my dog is in the room. Y'all might be able to hear him or might not. And he's moving around. He's licking himself right now. Love my dude. So the thing is that I absorbed it. Like I just went in. Like when I was at work, I was watching YouTube and listening to how to do stuff, and I was analyzing. When I do stuff, I kind of absorb it in a different kind of way. Like so when I'm looking or listening to something, I am trying to figure out how it works, and I think that's because I have an engineer's brain. I was in school for engineering, and then I switched to marketing, and then later on I went and did design. So those philosophies, I say school doesn't necessarily teach you knowledge; it teaches you how to think. So I learned for years how to think like an engineer. Then I learned for years how to think like a marketer. Then I went back to school and then I learned how to think as a designer and communicate as a designer. So I feel like the way that I look at things are different. So whenever I'm
That's
listening to my
that's not to cut you off. That's such a smart move to do it because to get that marketing behind you and not all have the creative. Because we see so many creative people who don't have that business side of how to function, and that's where a lot of times people I feel get caught up. So I think that's so smart and very strategic of you to do that because a lot of people don't figure out how to play that game.
it wasn't even trying to be smart or strategic. It was me not knowing what I was doing with my life. And I
Mm.
had to actually put a lot of trust in God because I was like, yo, I just wasted like 5 years doing engineering. I ain't finished with my degree and I finished with a
Mm.
marketing degree. And then I can't get a marketing job because we enduring a recession. And it's like they're trying to do sales, but sales and marketing is not the same. But it kind
Mm-hmm.
of all came together. But I am grateful for having all of those different backgrounds because, like I said, when I got into podcasting, when I listen to a podcast, I'm not just listening to it for the content. I'm listening to it. How did they do this? How did they set it up? How is it segmented out? Like I'm breaking it down piece by piece in order to understand how it works. So once I started doing that, once I got into it, I already had some knowledge from paying so much attention to the podcast that I love to listen to.
Mm.
And it gave me ideas of how to create content, how to market content, how to make money off of it. So I've only been doing it for really like a year and some change, but like really I've been preparing for it for multiple years. So once
Mm-hmm.
I learned about mics and stuff like that, I learned about dynamic mics. And the thing is that this room that I'm in isn't soundproof, but the sound is really good because of the proximity of the dynamic mic. The mic is made specifically to only pick up direct sound. So if I move off, my voice sounds completely different. So that when I move back on, I was talking the same, but it's not picking up the proximity. It's not picking all this up. So my room is not soundproof. It's not picking up the echo. If I had that condenser mic plugged in, it would just be like whoop 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 whoop. But it
Mm.
doesn't do that because it's a dynamic mic.